Lions are in a hole here. How do they dig out of it? 248-539-9797. Everybody's down. Nobody's feeling good. I said you look to the defense and specifically the defensive line. Yeah, you got to make plays. And I think it's Aleem McNeil, and I think it's Aiden Hutchinson. It's your stars. It's your high-paid defensive players. Go be game wreckers. Bail out your secondary. Bail out your offense. Get the football back. It's got to be the defensive line. I don't think the offense is going to be what we want it to be. Laporta's out. St. Brown's hurt. The middle of the offensive line hasn't been good enough. We know what that does to Jared Goff. If the D-line doesn't impact the quarterback, if those two guys don't win their one-on-ones, they're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It's this. We talk about problems that are fixable and not fixable. I think the issues with the offense are just simply the issues. Now that comes down to, Dan Campbell, that offensive staff, got to find a way to still gain yards. It may not be as explosive as it was the last couple of years, but you still got to find a way to move the ball and move the sticks. But with the issues of the interior three on that offensive line, you're just limited. You okay? Accept the fact that you're limited. And now you look at the players on defense. Hutch, got to have more impactful plays.
Yep.
And Aleem McNeil, kind of the same thing, more impactful plays. And then you look at Tyleek Williams, DJ Reader. I don't expect them to be pressuring the quarterback, but I do expect them to be stout and shut down the run. And now you're looking at the other side going, okay, who's going to step up opposite Hutch? At the beginning of the year, it was Al-Quadin Muhammad.
Yeah.
And
somebody's got to do that.
Yeah, somebody has to. And you keep looking around going, well, who?
John, I got it. I figured it out.
I know what you're going to say.
You know who saves the season?
All right. Get the SMARM alarm ready, please.
I got it right here. You know who saves the season, John? Marcus Davenport.
Stop. I want to punch you right now.
I remember in the offseason saying...
Can we make that our new... can we have a sounder of me like punching and Cookies going...
Sure, but that's him burping up what Brad cooked.
Yeah, I remember saying they can't have this guy be the starting edge, and I think you said, yeah, man, there's no way this guy's going to be the starting edge.
No, I mean, the over-under on how long he lasts is 1.5 games. Same thing last year. Before he was to the Lions, same thing, and it's the same thing this year.
Yeah. Let's get to the phones. Edward, you're on 97.1.
Guys, last week you guys mentioned that SOL is dead. I couldn't get through, but let's just recap. It seems crazy to say it, but in less than 2 calendar years, the Lions were up 17 points in the second half of the NFC Championship game. They lose that game. They follow it up with a 15-2 record, with a decimated defense. They win the division. They get the number 1 seed. They get the first-round bye. Their MVP candidate, so-called franchise quarterback, has 4 turnovers of his own. They lose the biggest game in Ford Field history. Now, here they are now, 7-5, staring 7-7 in the face. Forget the playoffs. We better hope they go plus 500. And to say that SOL is dead means that for way too many, this era is the Lions' equivalent of the Showtime Lakers, that this era is the Lions' equivalent of Iserman Fedorov. And that just goes to show you how low our standards are, because if they go 5 years, Brad Holmes era, Dan Campbell era.
Edward, you're making John very unhappy. He's not happy right now.
Explain to me how it's SOL. I mean, so what's the definition of SOL? Like things that are inexplicably that have never happened before, and you find new ways to lose. You find I just don't believe that they're finding new ways to lose. Like, are we disappointed? Are they regressing? Yes, but they did this to themselves by not solidifying the offensive line, by not going out there and understanding what made this team great.
Okay, so why does that make that immune from the SOL?
Edward, because SOL to me is the inexplicable. This is the explicable.
Edward, I would put it to you like this. Would we say it's such a same old Lions thing to do to lose the NFC Championship game?
Up 17 points?
No, but hold on. Edward, we would say, yeah, my whole life has been filled with the same old Lions losing the NFC title game.
Here, let me help Edward out.
Like, you got to really say it out loud and marinate in it for a second. Making the NFC title game was nothing like the same old Lions. Losing the game
You're making my point.
Edward,
you're making my point.
Edward, I'll let you finish your point, but let me finish mine. This football team losing that game is gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, agonizing. That doesn't mean every time the team loses a heartbreaker, it's SOL.
Okay. So the point is that because the Lions haven't done it since 1991, that because they lost that game the way they did, that makes it okay. You are proving my point.
I didn't say it's okay. You're putting words in my mouth, Edward. No one said it was okay to lose that game. But when you do the mouth-breathing, every loss is SOL routine, it infuriates people because it's lazy. Winning 15 games wasn't same old Lions because they lost the playoff game. It was an awful playoff game that we all loathed. It doesn't mean it's SOL.
See, this is where I disagree with you guys, though. It's not the inexplicable. Yeah, inexplicable is part of it, but so is the 1991 NFC Championship game loss. I lived as a Lions fan that was in the SOL era, and guess what? That season, they dominated except for 2 games. The first one they lost 45-0, and the last one they lost 41-10. They gave up 85 points to the best team in the league that year. They were never the best team.
But Tom,
they lost all the offensive linemen. Guess what? You have an offensive line problem. You can make the case. The Jameis Winston touchdown was a 3-ring circus SOL play. Then you have your center come back, desperation trying to save you, and the guy can't play.
Look,
the story's being written.
Okay.
If you want to call it SOL, that's fine. And I blame you for it.
Yes, blame him because he brought this up last week. But do you see where this goes then? They lost on Thanksgiving. That's SOL. They always lose on Thanksgiving. If they lose this week to the Dallas Cowboys, it'll be SOL. If they lose, everything just becomes SOL. And it just becomes a catch-all. It just becomes a lazy way of talking about this football team.
The 90s Lions got, and I don't really want to talk about this that much to agree because I still think Campbell and Holmes, I think Campbell's the X factor here. That they're in such better hands with a head coach than they were back with the other success, the 90s Lions. But the similarity... And
they're in better hands with the general manager as well.
Well, I think...
Well, we don't like how he constructed the team this year, and I get it.
I'm not going to say there have been better hands yet. That front office back then built a borderline Super Bowl caliber team. And then all their decisions after they had that roster that was on the edge of competing made wrong decisions. I think Brad Holmes has crippled this franchise with his last 2 drafts and last year's offseason.
Look, you want to say...
I think we'll see. That's all I'm going to say.
All I'm going to say is if every time they lose its SOL, it loses all its power.
Yeah.
If every time a bad thing happens, it's immediately SOL. Any football loss is SOL. SOL is a player dying. You know what I'm saying? SOL is... the Calvin Johnson catch rule. Those are the SOL moments. Let's not water down every single bad thing as SOL or every single loss is SOL.
You don't think the Winston catch is an SOL-like play?